All right, so here we have the form I was playing over, jazz blues, and I wanted to do this lesson on how to play the altered scale over this form because I think it's really important. It sounds great. It's like one of the biggest sounds that you'll hear in jazz, and I think any jazz musician should be able to use the altered scale effectively. So real quick, what is the altered scale? If you want to play a C altered scale, go a half step up, play C sharp melodic minor. That's an altered scale. So go a half step above the root, play melodic minor. That's altered scale. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this video is probably not for you. So go learn melodic minor scale, learn altered scale, and then come back. So where can you use an altered scale? You can use an altered scale on any dominant chord which resolves down a perfect fifth. So here I have circled for you all of the places where dominant chords resolve down a perfect fifth, and these are the places in the blues where I use altered scale. All right, I want to play you guys an excerpt from a transcription I did. This is one of my all-time favorite musicians. This is Michael Brecker playing over a C blues. This piece starts at the sixth chord on the second line, and then it goes through the last line, and it ends at the top of the form. So before we do any analysis or talking about it, I just want to play it for you. So here it is, Michael Brecker playing over blues. All right, so here I have outlined in red all of the places where Michael is using altered scale. As you can see, he does it on the sixth chord, on the A7. He doesn't do it on that G7, but he does do it on the next A7, and then on the very last measure, on the G, he uses G altered. Now check out that last measure. See what he does there on that last measure of the form, the G7. I think this is such a great example because he plays altered scale. He starts up on the seventh, and then he goes descending. He plays every note. There are no notes there that are not in the altered scale. It's obviously like exactly what he's thinking. And then he resolves from the seventh down to the third of the next chord, which is extremely common to, to be able to end that altered line on a guide tone, which is going to take you to the next chord. All right, so now that you kind of understand what's going on in this clip, I just want to play it for you one more time. Try to really pay attention to the parts I have circled in red. Just try to get into your ears what the altered scale sounds like. I think it's really important just to hear it and to recognize it. You know, like when you go out and you see someone playing and they play the altered scale and you immediately know Yeah, they played altered over that. I think that's really important. So here it is again. After that, we'll talk about some ways to use it and to practice it. All right, now what I want to do next is I want to show you how I practice stuff like this and how I ultimately get stuff like this into my playing. So what I've done is I have stolen Michael Brecker's lick. I like it so much, the one over that last G7 that I was talking about. I've stolen it and I've transposed it into a few different keys. These keys are strategically all of the keys that I will need to play altered scale in to play it all over the C blues. So my next step is just to practice this. I'm going to play exactly this lick over every chance I get in the blues. I'm going to demonstrate that for you real quick. It's just going to be an exercise. It's something that I recommend you try with whatever sounds you like, but I like this one, so this is the one I'm going to show you to demonstrate my practice routine. This isn't the last step, but this is what I do first when I learn a lick like this. I put in a bunch of keys, and I use it in every place I can possibly find, hoping that I can just get it into my ears and I can get used to it and start to use it. All right, now I have all my transitions in place. That's kind of how I think of these things. These altered lines, they're like transitions, a little bit of tension before you go into your next, the next phase of your story. So my next step is to add the rest of the story. And for blues, a lot of times for me, it's going to be dominant cliches. I might have some bebop lines or just, whatever melodies I hear over the rest of the blues. And then when I get to those altered places, I'm going to spit out my altered line, and then I'm going to be sucked right into the next phase of my story. So one thing I want to mention about altered lines is that I think they sound really, really good fast. And I know I was playing them in eighth notes in the last section of the video where I was demonstrating it. I did that just so you could see it and so it was clear and slow. But you will remember that Michael was playing that thing in 16th notes, and in the intro of this video, I think I probably more often than not was playing my altered lines in 16th notes. So when that's the case, I'll usually start it on beat 3, so that the lick is like the same length. It's just that it happens in 2 beats and it's in 16th notes instead of happening in 4 beats and being 8th notes. Anyway, thanks for checking out this lesson. If you liked it, please subscribe, like, comment, and everything. So here is me improvising around Michael Brecker's altered line.